Taking this one back a little bit. Some of y'all might be too young for this. But I think this song explains a little bit of something of how people feel in this time of year. Definitely those that have lost a loved one. I want your love. I want your love. Do you feel like you ever want? Especially if that loved one is a spouse. Try my love and see how well it fits. Baby, can't you see when you look at me? I can't kick this feeling when it hits. All alone. Hope everybody's been doing good this week. In my bed at night, I grab my pillow and squeeze it tight. I think of you and I dream of you all of the time. What am I gonna do? I want your love. I want your love. I want your love. I want your love. Everybody, y'all good, man? I hope
Yes.
y'all doing wonderful. First and foremost, happy holidays to you.
Happy holidays.
Oh man, hold on one second, y'all. Serena just hit me saying she got a message. People not seeing it on Facebook. Tell them, Serena, tell them to go to my personal page. They should see it. Let me check it out. Make sure that we're connected. Oh yeah, we're there. It's up there. So they just go to my personal page. They should see us. Okay. First, a couple of shout outs. As y'all can see, DJ All Night, Adrian Long, is not on the screen with us today. Want to make sure we tell him happy birthday. It's his birthday today. So he's out celebrating
all night. Happy birthday.
Having a good time.
Absolutely.
Last Thursday, I forgot to do it, but last Thursday was his wife's birthday. So he wasn't with us then because he's with his wife.
Wow.
So shout out to Tanya as well. She had a nice little birthday gathering Friday night. Adrian was DJing and whatnot. It was out at Rookies. It was cool. Shout out to Janai. She's not with us tonight because her school is having their holiday party. So, she had to go do the politically correct thing and show her face. So we're going to miss her. We might have a guest popping up soon that may be taking her place. We'll see how that goes. Shout out to Straight to Tape. That's our podcast family. Salute to Straight to Tape. Rob the Actual. Tico the Gallo. Keisha with a Y. The hip hop mom and my man. All right. C. Perry the second. Shout out to our guest last week, Terry Celine, Crystal Moss, Pam Snipes, Bradford, Sabrina Cates or Fisher Cates, and Lisa McCracken. 3 C's with that McCracken. Y'all don't forget that because I mistyped it and she ain't gonna never let me forget it. Next week we'll have Dr. Rod Heath from NCCU. We'll be talking about young black males and their experiences. The program that he started over there, running over there, and it's very successful for a lot of young black men. I love the work that he's doing. We'll talk about his background and some of his life stories, so on and so forth. And of course, the shout out to Tall Sai because he's the 05 bros. This Christmas night, make your way to the house. There will be a nice party going on for the adults, grown folk type stuff. So y'all come through. Purple and Gold Christmas. I'll be one of the hosts. Noah Brooks will be a host, and Mackie McKee, my cousin, he'll be a host along with Ramsey. So y'all know Ramsey on the spot. Prayers to the families that lost their young ones, lost these middle schoolers, these high schoolers earlier this week in that car crash and shooting incident. So I just want to send Front Porch's discussions, prayers and condolences out to them. From everybody that's on the screen, we're sending our prayers and condolences out to those families. It's the holidays, and that's part of what we're here for tonight. This is going to be something that may be difficult for some of us, or it may not be. I hope it doesn't get too emotional, but it's going to be very, very real. You've seen all of us on this screen before talking about grief. We're just hoping that we can be a blessing to someone, share our stories and share what we've been through. And then hopefully we'll be closing this chapter on grief after this one, or maybe within the next 6 months, because I would really like to come back and just see how everybody has grown, or what changes have come about within a year's half a year to a year's time. So we'll be revisiting the subject probably one more time. We don't want to beat people down with this because we don't want to bring sadness to anyone. We're hoping that this is a blessing and bringing brightness to someone, knowing that they too can survive and still move forward. So y'all,
Exactly.
please take our words, grab onto it. We're not therapists. We're not experts. We're just human beings that are living it day to day and hope to better ourselves and let this be therapeutic for us, while also being an example for others. All right. So our guest host has joined us now. That would be Eric's other half. I'm not gonna say better half because I think he's the better part.
Shots fired.
You always got to mess with Eric. But I will say that's his wife, and she's gonna fill in for Janai tonight. You know, she and her girls were on last week. They got a podcast coming up, so just getting her some of her podcast chops, cuts, and going on right now. Some of her reps in tonight. Terry, we dealing with grief. You know how you handle this type stuff, so Terry, you better go get some tissue, Terry. It's gonna probably be you that's crying. It probably will not be. So again, we have Miss Serena McCorkle with us, my man Sim Swells, Asim, and Miss Katana C.J. Peterson. So I'm gonna let them introduce themselves one more time. It's gonna be very brief, and then we'll start talking about how we're dealing with the holidays and things that are coming up. We got a lot of people giving shout outs too. I'll post those right now as y'all talk. Serena, you can start.
Hi, everyone. My name is Serena McCorkle. My amazing husband was Brian McCorkle. Lost him on February 26th of this year.
I'm Kantana C.J. Peterson. My phenomenal husband was Darius Peterson, better known as D. Peter Most. Lost him November 13th of 2020. Um, and just grateful to be here to help someone else.
Hello, I'm Asim Muqtasid. My wife was Sonia Sue Muqtasid. Um, she passed away on February 6th, 2021.
Okay. So I assume this makes the first holiday for you, right? First Christmas
Well,
holiday,
not the
Thanksgiving,
first Christmas. The first Christmas,
first Christmas.
and we didn't celebrate Christmas traditionally. Only the family gathers and everything, but we just weren't a traditional Christmas family. But what hurts is that her birthday was December 6th,
Hmm.
and our anniversary is December 18th. So these are the first for that. Oh, it's a lot of stuff going on in this 1 month. Um, if you saw me on uh, not the last podcast you did about grief, but the one before this that I was on, I explained her mother passed away on our anniversary
Mm-hmm.
of last year, and her mother's birthday is December 25th.
Mm.
So it's just a lot going on, a lot to
Yeah,
process for this 1 month.
yeah,
I'm um I'm still in counseling, not giving up on that because I need it. Um, I keep my children close. They basically they're my rock. I cannot lie about that. Anytime I gotta anytime I really got loose focus or I feel like I can't do it, I focus on them, and any doubt that I got, it's like it goes to the back burner. It's like I got to make sure they're straight, regardless of whatever is going on with me.
Mm-hmm.
It's a blessing and it's a curse at the same time because it hurts so much to see, to know what we don't have, to that emptiness. But at the same, but like I said, it's you do whatever you got to do to get to today, and you let tomorrow worry about tomorrow. Basically, I guess that's the best way to put it.
All right. Serena, this is your first too, right?
Yes.
Okay. I'm not gonna push. Okay. I'm not gonna push. Katana, this is your second,
It's
first?
my second.
Oh,
Hmm.
second. Okay. All right.
Um, Much like a sim, Darius and I were non-traditionalist and non-conformist. So where the majority of everyone actually celebrates holidays, we didn't per se because of the fact that for us, we took other occasions to be of super importance. And that's
Mhm.
not to go against what anybody's beliefs are.
Yeah. Yeah.
However, what we did was that we celebrated all year long: birthdays, anniversaries, doing well in school, job promotions, any reason that we could find to celebrate, we did. And that made it a little easier for us across the board because we weren't all focusing on one particular time of the year. Every day for us was important, every day for us was special. So to be able to enjoy those times all year long was really, I think it made things a little easier for me probably than for most because we didn't do anything major during this time, with the exception of spending lots of time together and really focusing on the things that were of importance to us: family, friends, actually talking, sharing, um, being open with each other, being able to convene with close friends and family and really spend that true quality time that most of us say that we want and need but never really follow through with. We
Yeah.
made that a staple of what we do or what we did.
Well, for
Sometimes
me,
that
oh, go ahead. Go ahead. I didn't mean to
I was
cut
just
you off.
saying sometimes the present and the past tense I have to still balance that because I'm talking and it's like he's still here
Yeah.
emotionally and psychologically. He's still present. I still feel his energy, but physically he's not. So if my verbiage slips and my tense gets
Hey,
bad, guys, work with me.
you do you and how you do it. That's part of what everybody up here and everybody out there needs to understand how you do it. Um,
Right.
this is my third. This is my third. So I'm more of a lack of a better word veteran, I guess. That doesn't mean it's any easier. I used to call this
Okay.
time period, once November hits until mid-February, my money run, and,
Uh-huh.
and now it's become my emotional run. You have
Mhm.
Thanksgiving, and then you go into about a 3 week period, and then you're looking at Christmas. Well, Thanksgiving, then at least on the 28th, depending on when Thanksgiving falls, and it's 2 days later,
Mhm.
3 days later, I'm in my anniversary, wedding anniversary.
Mhm.
Then 3 weeks or so later is Christmas, and then 2 to 3 weeks later is her birthday, January 17th, and then 2 to 3 weeks later is the birthday of our firstborn. That's my son,
Mhm.
and then 2 weeks later is Valentine's Day. So
Okay.
I'm a little different this time of year. It just hits a little different for me, from November to February, and I started seeing it because I changed my diet up, and I was very strict in following it. As soon as we got to Thanksgiving, yeah, it's been hard for me to keep things in place. My
Mhm.
focus, everything else just starts to change. Um, so it's a little rough. And so anybody that's out there that's just experiencing this, whether it be a spouse, brother, sister, cousin, aunt, uncle, um, we understand where you are, and we want you to know that. And I can't speak for everyone here. I can tell you how I've dealt with it. Um, running from it won't save you. Running from it won't save you.
It
So
makes it worse.
it makes it worse. You're
It
just
makes it
putting
worse.
it off. So I will tell people this: do not start using any type substance. And when I say that,
Yes.
it can be alcohol, it could be some other type drug, it could be cookies, it could be cake, sodas, beer, wine. You can exercise too much.
Yes.
Right.
You know,
Absolutely.
I know
I
everyone's
mean, it's
gonna have
good to
a
take a walk though. It's
yeah. You
good
can
to
take a
clear.
walk. You can
It's
take a
good to
walk.
take a walk, but
Everybody's gonna have some type of vice, I believe, and in moderation. If you take a sip, do not let
Right.
don't fall dependent on that. But you got to face this situation. You got to
Right.
face it head on, accept it for what it is, and just work through it. I call it, I call it the journey, the walk by yourself. It's something somebody else can't do for you, and they can't come with you.
Mm-mm.
You got to go
No,
through
sir,
this
they
by
cannot.
yourself. You got to go through it by yourself. The first Thanksgiving I had, closed myself up in my room.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I came out and I ate with everybody, but most of the day they didn't see me, and I laid in
Mhm.
bed all day, looking at TV, really not paying attention, just watching.
It's
The
it's
TV was watching you. You weren't
Yeah,
watching it.
Mhm.
yeah.
it's
You won't.
funny that you say that because I didn't really recognize it until like the day was over with, but I didn't realize how isolated inside my own head because I went to my mother's house and my children with me and everybody was around, but I didn't realize that like when the day was over, I actually isolated myself. Like I, I felt like I was in a bubble, and the most of it when I look back at it, it's like I'm trying to deny it, like what was going on. And it's not, I mean, and I don't say it in a bad way, like I was trying to do that. It's
Right.
just that, of course, it just didn't feel the same. It just
I
I
don't
mean,
think you're in denial, Asim. I think what it is that it feels surreal and you've not
yes,
been there before. So you're not able to truly ascertain what you're going through in that moment because you're in the midst of it.
Mhm,
And in the midst of
mhm.
it, you don't know if it's up or down or left or right, baby. You don't because you can't. It's not that you don't want to. Of course, we don't want to, but you physically and psychologically cannot because it's that intangible. And that intangible actually causes you a whole different mindset, a whole different emotional type of vibe that you can't pinpoint. You just realize after the fact, oh, okay, that's what I was doing. Honestly, it's more of a self preservation and self protective mechanism that we fall into immediately. It really is. And you have to look at it that way because you are trying to protect yourself from the external hurt of that mate not being there, that loved one not being able to touch them and hug them and say the things you want to them. So, what you said is accurate. However, there's some layers to it that, unless you've been there, you don't quite get it. And that's not to knock those that haven't. I pray that they never have to. However, that's what it really boils down to. Is this a self-protective mechanism and you are in a surreal space?
I describe it as I don't feel like I'm actively participating in my life. I'm in the room and people are around me, but it feels like I'm watching reels or movie
Hmm.
clips of my
Exactly.
life. So
Hmm.
it's very surreal. And CJ, one of the things you said about the past tense, I haven't gotten used to it yet. So it's definitely a process. I will say, since our last two, it's a little better. Um, I'm grateful for that. I dreaded, even though I don't celebrate Halloween, I dreaded Halloween coming in because I knew the Christmas music was going to start and
Hmm.
and I did purposely go into a little isolation um, the beginning of November, just because it was or is painful. And it's the holiday season. It's Christmas, and you don't want to bring people are celebrating their families, things. You don't want to bring other people down with what you're going through. So it's different. Um, Brian and I, we very this was our favorite time of year. We very much did
Yeah.
Christmas, and I just remember last Christmas I kept saying, "Are you in war with the neighbors?" He kept adding lights and kept adding lights and kept adding lights and kept adding lights.
he can
Oh
go this
my
Clark
goodness.
Griswold. He can go this Clark
Yeah,
Griswold
the
out
bridge wall.
Yes.
You know he was not going to be outdone, girl.
No, no. So one of the ways that I coped is I kept some of the same traditions, but changed them a little. Like I collected ornaments for special occasions and vacations and things of my life. So of course I stopped that because that part of my life has ended. Started collecting black Santas because he was my Santa, and just doing some different things with the girls. Grandbaby has been such a blessing, such a joy. So
Mhm.
it's like she can feel the energy. And as soon as she feels like I'm going down or whatever, she'll come over and do something sweet, give me a hug. So it's a different process, but I'm grateful to God that I'm pushing through. I'm pushing through.
Um, Denise, people said, do you all think what CJ said applies to the loss of a parent? Um, Denise, I would say yes. I mean, I can't speak from anybody else, but I've lost a parent, aunts, uncles, grandparents, friends. It's been a lot. And just to be exact with you, since Stephanie and her father's death, of course, they passed 11 days apart. Her dad was first, and then her. Since then, in 2019, there have been about 70 people that I either know personally or I'm super connected to that have
Mhm.
have lost their lives and been gone. So I've been facing a whole lot of that. That weighs on me a lot too. Most
Mhm.
recently, Angela Teal's father passed away. Good dude. Love Mr. Leroy Smith. And that was just like a week or so ago.
Mhm.
Um, and so, yeah, it's the same thing with a parent. It's the same thing with a parent. I think it's the same with any death that someone that you're super connected to,
Right.
as a family member or not. There's always that void that's going to happen,
Right.
and you start looking at different things. Their birthday, your
Mhm.
birthday, and remember when they what they did or said and things. So it's always going to be that void from here on out. Now people always, oh, it's going to get better. It doesn't get better. It gets bearable. You make adjustments. You learn to live with it. But better is them being here. I say that all the time.
Absolutely.
Better is relative. It's very relative. And that whole colloquialism of time heals all wounds, you can go jump with that. You can go jump with that.
Yeah,
Oh,
get out
well,
of
well, I feel like it's like with anything. It's time. You're right. Time doesn't heal all wounds. And when you and the truth is, something that has happened to us, when you have something like this happen, it's like you're in a car accident. And I've said this before. It's like you're in a car accident and you've lost an arm, and now
Hmm.
you have to learn to do everything you normally do with one arm.
With one arm,
Instead of
You
two.
yes.
might be able to do it again. You might even learn to do it better, but you can't do it like you used to. That arm is gone. You might be
Hmm.
able to learn to juggle. You might be able to learn to fight with one hand. You might be able to learn to drive a car with one hand. All that, but that part of your life is that piece is severed, and it's the loss of a limb is serious like that. You got to learn it. It's like a car accident. You got to learn to walk again, to talk again. To it's like you start from scratch here, and
Hmm.
and the truth is you're a brand new person. There's no denying that. You're a brand new person. These are you're feeling everything different. You're doing everything different because you were a different person before you met this person, and meeting this person and being with that person made you a different person. So now that that person is gone, you have become a new person again, and now you have to be comfortable or learn how to be that person. And 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 you're left scarred like any other hard pain, any stab wound, any gunshot wound, anything. You're scarred, and it
Hmm.
may not be a visible scar. It may not be something that you can see, but it's there and it's deep. And you walk and if you're just like you damage your arm really bad, that arm doesn't work the same way it does. My love is not going to work the same way it used to. It might work it's going to work differently, of course, and it still works. It's still love, but my love is scarred. I cannot lie about that. I can't speak for the future, but I know how I feel right now, and I know how it feels.
Hmm.
It what I don't like the most, what I do not like the most, is them not being here physically, and me being able to tell them how much I love them and how much I miss them. I write in my journal, I think about them, but the truth is, the surrealness messes with you. The it does not seem real, or at least for me, that's how it feels. It just all the time, waking up in the middle of the night, or going to do something, like just anything. It just does
Hmm.
not seem real. It feels like
Hmm.
a big joke, and it just feels like it's just something that and don't get me wrong, I'm not insane. I know what happened. I know what I'm going through, but it still does not seem real. If
Mhm.
it's a pain that hurts so bad that if somebody was to cut you while you really feeling it, you wouldn't feel it. You wouldn't think twice about it. You just look down and notice that you're bleeding.
Mhm.
The focus is that serious. I don't know no other way to explain it really. What is it like? I'm just speaking for how it feels for me. I can't speak for everybody, but that's how I feel.
Terry, you saying something? We can't hear you, T.
She on mute.
Now you on mute. Eric didn't give his wife technical lessons. Eric in the house. Eric in the house like you on your own.
Is it good?
You on your own. She got something
Yeah,
to
I
say. She need to
I
get it
gotta
out.
get her squared away back there. But question on the topic of grief during the holidays. Is it this holiday that I guess I hate to say like increases the grief? Maybe that's an incorrect term. Or is it similar across all holidays? And if not, what makes this holiday more grievous?
I,
It's every day. That's why for me, it's not even it's every day. It could be something as simple as a cup of coffee. I don't drink coffee. My wife drank coffee all the time. I can see a cup of coffee and have to hold bite my tongue or keep from crying. Just it's that serious. Like it's not nothing. It's not a specific date. It's not a specific time. It might just be one little thing, something you hear on TV, something you see, and it could be any day. It could I could go through that holiday, or I went through the Fourth of July, nice and simple. But my family tell you, I'm driving over to see my family came down for the Fourth of July, and I'm driving over there to see them. And in the car, this one song came on um, that I know that she loved. Get you, who would have thought I with you? And I, like a little girl, I mean, screaming, ah, 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 ah. It just that's what it'll do. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't
yeah.
matter. It only
What
takes one thing to trigger me. Well, that's
for
me.
me, um, it's across the board for the most part. I think Christmas, I just look at it because Stephanie loved Christmas and Christmas decorations and getting the kids a whole gang of stuff, and that's what she wanted to do. Because I even got to the point, I stopped putting up Christmas decorations. I was like, I'm the only one putting them up. Nobody is helping me put them up. Nobody helping me take them down. Everybody want the tree up, but I got to do the whole thing. Nah, so I stopped. And actually, we got decorations up now. My sister can't put those up. I helped last year, but I just wasn't feeling it because I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I don't give a damn. Um,
That
Now
part.
with her gone about these holidays, they really don't mean the same. I mean, I care because of the kids and because of my mom and my sister, yeah, it's family, but it's just another day to me. Um, the ones that hit me the most are our anniversary and her birthday.
Mm.
Right.
If we got to say which ones hit the hardest, and actually, to be honest, Mother's Day too.
Mhm.
Because Stephanie wasn't. I'm big on my birthday. I mean, if I got to choose my birthday or Christmas, I'm gonna choose birthday and Central Homecoming.
Of
That's
course you
that's
are.
my holidays right there. I'm good. I don't care about no other holidays. Central Homecoming and my birthday. That's all I need. That's my whole year. My holidays right there. And, and my line anniversary. I got a little love for that. But Christmas, Thanksgiving, all that. I. But Mother's Day to Steph was bigger than her birthday, and it was probably even bigger to her than Christmas. I remember the first time I forgot and didn't get her a card or something on Mother's Day. It might have been Jordan was 2, and trust I never did that again.
Right.
She,
Absolutely.
she tore the world down.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I was like, "It's Mother's Day." I said, "Happy Mother's Day."
Not enough.
She was like,
Uh-uh.
"Nah, that ain't gonna get it, player."
Well,
Playboy,
see,
that's not gonna do it for me. It's got to at least be a card or something.
Right.
You
Sonya,
got to, I done
it
gave
was,
birth to these. Just that's okay. So I got that. So that's why that hits me. But definitely our anniversary, her birthday, and Mother's Day. Um, and to Asim's point about that, it hitting you anywhere, not to tell my daughter's business, but she's a woman, so you know what happens every month for a woman. Hers hits kind of hard on her, and I'm not a woman, so I can't, I can't feel her pain. I can't, you know. And so she needed to leave school the other day because her cramps were kicking her ass quite a bit, and I had to leave work a little bit early to go pick her up. And I just feel for her so much because I love her so much. And her mom's not here to deal with those things and to talk through that and to help out. And I cried all the way to her school. She had no idea. I did. Yeah.
That's because you're
Oh,
a real dad and you
Miss
actually love and care
Tiffany.
about her.
Yeah,
um, that I'm like Joe. That Mother's Day, I mean, she really didn't even care about her birthday so much, but that Mother's Day, and she made a big deal about that with me too, because I was getting her. I bought her one of them charm bracelets, and every year I was gathering her something to add to her charm bracelet. And I would forget, like one year she said, "Don't give me another damn charm. You better get creative this year." So, so I mean, so I started trying to, go different and go big. But it's funny that what's really funny to me is she would always forget our wedding anniversary, and I would always buy her something special, but she would always forget. And I thought it was cute. I personally just thought it was cute because I knew her birthday was on the 6th, her mother's birthday was on the 25th, so she wasn't thinking nothing about our anniversary. She was thinking about everything else, you know.
Hmm.
So and Christmas time for everybody who works. We just already know this is fourth quarter. Everybody goes hard. So between all that, I fully understood. There was nothing to me. I'll never forget how hard she laughed when one day I texted her a picture where I googled nothing found, and I found a like a meme where you can put like a Google with a nothing found. How you try to search it and shows nothing, and in the top title I put Asim's anniversary gift,
Wow.
and she laughed for like an hour straight off it. I'll never forget that. I mean, that alone, that laugh alone, I didn't care that she didn't give me anything. And you know what I'm saying? Trust me, that night she got me something, But anyway, that's
yeah.
beyond that. But
We're gonna keep it PG,
we'll keep
Sim.
it, yeah, okay. But even still, how hard she laughed and how big her smile was, I'll never forget that. Just that I could make, I love to make my wife laugh. I really, really miss that. I used to love just making her laugh, just making her laugh till she cried, and that really, that it's things you don't even think about like that. Oh, things I
Hmm.
don't think about. The little things like that. It's always shakes me up. Like stuff you didn't pay attention to when it was here, but now that they're gone, you just wish you could do it 1,000 times more. And it's like, dang.
Hmm. For me, it's whatever the triggers are at that time. To be honest with you, if it just happens to be one of those days when we used to call it a beautiful Carolina blue day, and you're just riding out and you're just laughing and giggling, and one of his favorite songs would come on. Darius was a major dancer. He would dance like nobody's business and could outdance just about anybody. So the percolator was one of his. Oh my God. So whenever the percolator comes on, I have to get my life together and my face together because I'm like, I want to dance, but I don't have the energy to do it because it's so draining. At the same time, I'm smiling because I know he's dancing wherever he is. He's straight dancing and having a blast. Um, there were certain days that were a little more intense. His birthday, of course, our wedding anniversary, um, were big for us because and his birthday was the annual festival day and show something 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 something. It was always his birthday, and he would always celebrate it big. Um, and we were big about that. So for his birthday this year, because he would have turned 50, I did a private service ceremony tribute. Um, we went down to the coast, um, had amazing food, had a marvelous DJ. Shout out to DJ Damu. Shout out to Monty Johnson for being our bartender with Bartending Unlimited. And we had Chef Precious Jewel and Jacqueline, and they indulged catering. They were amazing. And I actually spread his ashes. So that was something huge. It wasn't necessarily a trigger, but it was a tribute to him and to what he's done and to who he was, because we were ocean people. So he'd been going down to Emerald Isle for 35 plus years. So it was only appropriate that his ashes were spread there. And that was actually a big thing for myself and for my son, as well as his mother, his brother, and his aunt. But that was huge. So I won't say that it was a trigger, but the birthday is a time where it's a little more poignant because of the intensity of what we normally did together during that time. And of course, our wedding anniversary, which is 5 days after his, I'm sorry, 9 days after his birthday. Um, like I said, Thanksgiving, Christmas, Valentine's Day, all that kind of stuff, those didn't have the same meanings for us, um, because we cherished each other every day and for the special things that we would do throughout the course of the year. Um, but it was big. His birthday was huge, and definitely our wedding anniversary. So those are the things, of the times that are more triggers. Last year's Thanksgiving was very difficult. It was my first Thanksgiving, and it was just a few days after he had transitioned. I just had his tribute on the 21st, and then 2, 3 days later is Thanksgiving, and then my father's birthday is the 23rd of November, who transitioned in 2016. So it's kind of like with you, Joe. You have those consecutive days coming right behind each other, and it gets really intense. It gets really intense. So I've been working to balance that as much as possible.
Yeah, it gets real crazy. Think Terry's having some technical difficulties and Eric's trying to help her out. So what things do you guys do, you know, during the holiday to really kind of take your focus? I know Serena's been focusing on her grandbaby. Sim is focusing on his kids. I kind of focus on mine a little bit. Um,
I'm the
CJ,
odd man out. Look, I'm the odd man out. My kid's 35.
yeah, you got grown ups. Well,
I got
Serena
a
actually
grown
has
man.
grown ups too.
I
Yeah,
do. I do. They're
yeah,
28 and 25.
yeah. She got grown
Okay,
ups.
But
okay.
this year we are traveling for Christmas. We're going to Orlando, taking the baby to Disney. I figured it would be kind of hard to be sad in Disney. And it's kind of, that was our first major trip when the girls were little. So we love Orlando. So definitely that. Um, I haven't really been going out to do the normal Christmas festivity, parties and functions, but I have had a few things here. I had a Friendsmas. I had a bunch of games with my daughters and nephews. I have something tomorrow night with my church sisters. Um, so just doing a lot to keep my mind occupied. I'm sorry, I can't do a lot of talking right now.
Stop apologizing. Stop
Yeah. And then
apologizing.
to
You already
apologize about. Exactly. Nothing
no
to apologize.
ma'am. No ma'am. This is what this is for. This is for you to be able to heal and express yourself. And whether you can speak it out verbally or not, it's okay. Because it will take a little time for you to get to that point where you can actually speak it and it not automatically make the tears run. Because the tears are literally, it's just the simple love that you have that you can't verbally express. Let them run, girl. I've been sitting at Briggs, my favorite spot. Everybody knows this, where we went all the time. I could be there 3, 4 days a week. Um, and the staff knew, they know. So if I happen to bow my head and I just start crying, they let other people know, hey, don't touch her. She's fine. She needs a minute. You know what I'm saying? And for those that are really in your circle and overstand where you are, you're supposed to let them run. And you better not apologize again. And I mean that.
Yeah, definitely.
I it I will admit it feels for me it feels good to cry because there's so much
Exactly.
inside. Like inside, you're like, as,
Mm-hmm.
as it's been explained to me, anger and sadness are the same emotion sometimes, and it
Mm-hmm.
feels good to cry because if you're not crying, we it, it's been clinically proven to hold in that stress and to hold in that it starts to damage you emotionally, spiritually, physically. Do not hold that in. Let it go. Let it flow through you. Feel
Mm-hmm.
that love. Show
Mm-hmm.
show and do when you love them, you kiss them anywhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let that express that love, girl. Show the world how much you love. You know,
Exactly.
ain't nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it. If I was there, I'd
Exactly.
cry with you. I'm gonna tell you right now, I give you a cry with you. I'm gonna tell you because it hits me just like that too. I could be fine. I could be fine, and and I mean I'll be at work. I work for UPS, so you already know around this time, I could be busy in the mud and sit down for 2 seconds and just all of a sudden just boom, it's there. And but I'm not going to
Salute
stop for
them.
nobody. I'm not. I'll collect myself and get back to doing what I'm doing. But I've been told as my from my therapist, when you feel it, let it come. Don't ball it up. Don't hold on to it. It's not good for you. You love them. This grief that you're feeling is the expression of love that you have for them, and that's what it is. It's just that I can't make it anymore. I can't say it any other way.
Well, I tell you what, I don't wish this shit on nobody.
Touche.
Nobody.
Touche,
Not even
G.
people that I might dislike. I don't want this to
Nah.
happen to y'all, man.
Mm-mm.
But
Not at all.
this shit is crazy, man. It's crazy. Terry, you had something to say a little earlier.
I'm not
To
sure. Can you hear me now?
we got
Yes.
you now. You like Verizon. You like
Hey.
Verizon. We can you hear me now? We hear you now.
I'm not sure if you had already addressed this or whatever. I
Doesn't
did
matter.
lose my dad 2011, and it never gets easier. I just learned to live with it. I am always emotional over it, and just thinking about you guys. I knew your spouses, and every time I think about it, I just get emotional. I'm sorry, Joey.
No,
I'm
you all
sorry.
right, baby.
And every time I talk to Joey, I get to going about Stephanie. And I miss them so much. I miss Darius. Every time I think about him, I cry. I miss Brian. Brian helped me a lot my freshman year, with being a big girl, I always get to going. Darius always came over there and talked to me at that customer service desk.
Yes.
I miss them a lot. Every time I think about my daddy, I get to going, I get to crying, I go in my little space and I just go for it.
And
I
then when it
had the
gets real bad,
question
you start sweating on
now,
your nose, right?
how are you all gonna be how are you all gonna handle this season? I know it's very, very difficult. I heard you say how you were in the past, with handling it. How are you right now with handling this Christmas season? This season, I heard you say, you're non-traditional and how it is for you. And just before Eric came in, I had like to get myself together. How are
um,
you going to deal with this
well,
this
let me
season?
share this because it's very fortuitous that on December the 16th, we're having this conversation because Darius and I were married September 14th of 2002. His father transitioned December 16th, 2002, the very same year we got married. So today is the 19th anniversary of his father's transition at 3:12 this afternoon. So This time of year was always challenging for us, because he was suffering a substantial loss because he and his dad were really cool and he only has one brother. Um, so it's been something I've unfortunately been trained to deal with since the beginning of my marriage. December never quite held the same type of intensity or joy that you would think that one would have during this time of year. Um, and it fluctuated so substantially for us because, we're driving up the side of a mountain going to Cincinnati in a snowstorm, looking over the edge of the cliff, trying to get to his dad before he transitioned. Um, so December's always been an interesting time for my family. Once I combine my family with Darius's, um, so honestly, for me, it's a lot of prayer.
Mhm.
And a lot of times, I'm just kind of off to myself. That whole kind of surreal bubble we talked about earlier. Please excuse me. Um, it's one of those things where it's really, you got to put your mind and your energy over the emotions that you're having to deal with. Um, because Darius was the type of gregarious person that he was, and he was so engaged with the children. He's a family of two. I'm a family of five. So my immediate, if we go anywhere, just me, my siblings, my mom, and my nieces and nephews, there's like 20 of us. So he was a huge kid lover because he told me all the time, I'm only seven, really. I was like, really, dude, that's just not sound, it doesn't sound good as you're telling me you're only seven. But he was a big kid. So he was the fun uncle. He was Uncle DP.
Mhm.
So he was always doing something engaging with the children. So what winds up happening for me is that I wind up surrounding myself with all of my nieces and nephews, or as many of them as I can get or stand at one time, because they range from 2 up to 26. So, I've got stuff everywhere for them. So whenever they come, we can engage, and we'll do bonfires outside. We'll do, football in the front yard. We'll do things that he would have done with them. And that is a big help for me. Um, but realistically, it's always an interesting time and has been for a very long time.
Brian passed away on the 26th of February, but I always recognize the 25th because that was actually the last time that we were able to talk to each other and look into each other's eyes. So um, December 25th will be 10 months. Um, so it's I have mixed emotions because, of course, it's um, for me as I recognize the birth of Jesus, and also 10 months of losing my husband. So um, try not to be selfish, and I know I can be, but still honoring Christ during that time and not focusing too much on what I've lost and more of what He allowed me to have. I had 29 years. I keep saying that every podcast. And I
Mhm.
have to focus on that and hold on to that because a lot of people don't get it, don't
Mhm.
get that time or don't get that. So I am blessed, but it doesn't take away from the pain, the hurt, missing him. I shared that last week. I guess it's a baby step. Was the first time I actually woke up knowing he wasn't there. It took almost 10 months to not wake up and reach for him or look for him, or you know what I'm saying. So and even in that, I would cry when I would forget that he wasn't there, and then last week I'm crying because I woke up knowing he wasn't there. So just doing the best I can, one day at a time, 1 second at a time. Um, of course, trying to be strong for the girls. They're having a difficult time right now. They're maneuvering through, but recognizing their grief stages as well, um, and just pushing, 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 pushing.
Well,
Trying to stay sane.
I back in the day, Stephanie used to wear that warm vanilla sugar from Bath
Yes.
and Body Works, and I kind of like that on her. So this year on my Bath and Body Works candle run, I bought 4 bath Body Works warm vanilla sugar candles, so my house gonna smell like it. And I
Mm-hmm.
bought me another bottle of that shower gel, so when I shower at night, I can put it on and I lay down and it smell like she laying right there.
Mm-hmm.
I did that for me. That's what I did for me.
It was really hard. Actually, it was a little because everything, if I was out or online, I saw so many things that I wanted to buy Brian.
Yeah.
It was, and yesterday, again, another first, I actually saw something. I forgot what it was. I think it was a pair of shoes or something. I was getting ready to, and then had to remember, I can't order that. He's not here.
Well, Serena, I
So
would say I wear size 11 and a half, 12.
Now,
Like dogs
Serena,
taste, dog
Yeah,
have
I
good
throw that
taste.
out there for
You can
you.
just buy
really,
what you're gonna buy for him and then put them in the mail. And I'll
really.
tell dog I'm rocking on them just like you would, bro.
Now, Serena, what you just said is key because if it is something that you've seen that you would have bought for him, you can still do that and you can donate it to someone else in his honor, in his memory. That's something big. Okay. If you know it's something that he would have enjoyed, you know somebody else that will enjoy it as well. So do that in honor of him, and that will help in its own way.
His brother Joe
Um,
Biggs, his brother Joe Biggs.
his brother, Joe.
You'll be honored. You'll be honored. I'm just trying to bring some comedy into this. Because Terry came in here with the wrinkle face, like a Sharpay. Just
we're gonna have to work with her on that
nasty
podcast
face.
etiquette.
Hey, I hope that podcast never had no sensitive subjects because she is nothing but tissue paper. She is a sponge of water.
Terry, this is the first podcast that I have cried on. There's a
And
reason
that's
for
because
that.
she brought it out. And she's gonna cry again before we get off of here. Look at her, she's about to cry now. It's all good, Terry. We love you, baby. Erica's a great husband.
We love you, Terry. We love you.
Staying in the cut. Staying in
Can I
the
ask
cut.
a forward question? Being that you all have already experienced the loss of a spouse, is there any words that you can give to couples out there that may help them with the loss of a spouse?
Ooh.
You said, is there something we can tell couples who are dealing with the loss of a spouse?
No.
Tell
Is
the
there something that
individual.
you can tell couples that can help them in the likelihood of losing a spouse?
Gotcha.
What I tell you immediately is make sure all of your affairs are in order. Darius and I were blessed to have the conversation about 8 weeks before because it was time to update wills. It was time to update all the financial information. And it was really pressed on my spirit to write down all the passwords for everything. Like, you don't think about the passwords for the social media accounts. You don't think about the password for the account that you have at work. You don't think about the password for this gym membership. We have more passwords than we have breath. And if you don't have them, you are screwed. And that is as politely as I can say it. So we sat down, we had a very deep conversation. And I know it was nothing but the grace of God. We had this conversation about what his desires were, what my desires were. When my father transitioned, he transitioned like instantaneously. My sister, they worked on her for like an hour and a half because she was only 39. So she was gone. So when we had these conversations, I was like, what do you want? I need to know what it is your last wishes are. Because we had them, but we needed to update them. So it was much easier for me to handle the business side of his transition than it was for most people because the conversation was fresh. Ask each other, literally, baby, would you mind? Would you be okay if I remarried? You need to know this kind of stuff because those things will affect you down the line. And no, you won't get remarried in the next 6 months. It might be 10 years. However, if you receive the permission from your spouse while they are in their complete right mind, it puts you in a different space of peace. You don't have to wonder, what would she want? What would he want? You've got to prepare yourself. And these are hard conversations to have, but the best to have them while you are both in your right minds, you're both in a space where you can talk about this and be logical and rational with each other. You need to make sure that all of you all are on all of the accounts. If not on the accounts, like your mortgage, your light bill, your water bill, your gas bill, your car notes, you need to make sure that you've got all that information where you are either an authorized user or you are the co-owner of those accounts. Because it's the business side of this that will truly drive you insane after the fact if you have not put these stipulations in place to protect yourself. You need your power of attorney, you need your
Yes.
healthcare power of attorney, you need a living will, you need all of these things put in place, and it won't take you long. It's worth the money that you'll spend getting it done correctly by an attorney, as
Hmm.
opposed to waiting after the fact and go, oh my God, now what?
Yeah.
Prepare yourself. Be
Yeah.
prepared.
Yeah.
Um, it was a conversation I needed to have had with my mother, but we didn't have it. However, my daddy had already put some things in place because he and I thought the same. So that was already taken care of in a lot of ways. And with him, I think we had the insurance check in like less than a week. We had make sure that when you are talking about this stuff, you have to be mindful of, okay, if the mortgage is in Joe's name, then if Joe's gone, then Stephanie would have needed at least 4 to 5 to 10 certified copies of the death certificate. Some
Hmm.
places won't take a copy. You need a certified copy. They're like 10
Hmm.
bucks. Your mortician will take care of that. But those are things you need to have written down and put in place. And you have to be thinking further ahead than where you currently are. So planning. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to go on a tirade. Planning.
No,
Yeah.
no, you're
It's
Yeah.
right.
important.
Because
You
most
needed
people,
to do that and be detailed with that.
Yeah.
people
And
don't understand. I'm sorry, I ain't even cut you off.
You
no, no, no,
good?
you're fine. Because I'm thinking if you've got an estate, if you've got a trust, you got to make sure that somebody can be the fiduciary over your estate when you're gone. I mean, there's so many little nuances that take place. If you talk to an attorney, pay the $200 to $500 to get all of your paperwork done.
Get
Just
everything
do
done.
it.
Just do it.
Just
Everything,
freaking do it and stop
power of
reading.
attorney, everything. She's right.
Exactly.
That
Healthcare power of
10,
attorney.
that 10, because that she's not lying about. So you're gonna need 10 copies of that death certificate
Mhm.
because
Easy.
everybody's gonna want a copy to close accounts, to change things, whatever. You make sure that you know the credit cards. They don't keep those
Oh
secret
dear
credit
God.
cards. Make sure you know. People don't
Credit
realize
card
she's right.
stocks.
That
Mm-hmm.
business part of this is what's gonna burn you. And people don't know this. If you live in the state of North Carolina, they already have a will written out for you. If you haven't written one out for yourself, the state of North Carolina already has one written out for you,
That's
and
right. They do. Yes.
it specifically stipulates that whoever you owe money gets first.
Yep.
Don't forget about your family. If you did not leave any money to your family, whatever's left over, we're gonna give it to Visa. We're gonna give it
Yep.
to the
Yep.
credit bureau. We're gonna give it to whoever you owe money to, and they can have whatever's left. And they might get left with a bill, depending on
Mm-hmm.
how much you actually owe, because
Exactly.
you don't want that. You do not want the tax man coming and telling you, or did you stand in front of a judge trying to close out the estate, and he tells you you got to sell the house because this person uh, didn't close this out, and now he owes $100,000 to these people, and you standing there like, well, what? Spend that
Exactly.
extra money. Spend that extra money on life insurance. If you
Oh my
got,
God.
don't think that your job is going to cover it. Get you a separate life insurance policy. One where you got to take a physical. One where you got to get something serious. And they have great options now. It's not
And
like it
run that
was back.
joint up as far as
Yes,
you
Yes.
can run it.
As
yes.
far as you can run it.
As far as you
Mm-hmm.
can run it, as much as you can afford. Because automatically, when you pass away, I found this from a financial advisor. When you pass away, whatever you can add up your life, or you can add up your life insurance, I should say, and automatically cut that number in half easily.
Yep.
Because because not only did your income yearly got cut in half, but there's going to be expenses. There's going to be
Mm-hmm.
time where you got to figure things out, and some things you're not, especially when it first happens, you're not going to want to figure it out. You're just going to throw money at it just to get it out the damn way. So
Mm-hmm.
don't trust on that. It's serious. People procrastinate all the time because we think, and even this, you're thinking about death. Let's just go past death. Let's just say they're in a vegetative state. You need to have a conversation so that they know. Listen, don't leave me on low life support for 10 years. Don't leave
Right.
me. I don't want to leave you. I don't want to leave my kids with $100,000 medical bill because I stayed alive in the hospital for 30 days. Because don't think the state ain't coming after that. Don't think just because you die. This is not 1962 where you
Oh
die and your
yeah,
debt
I
dies with
got
you.
the Duke and the UNC to prove it.
Yeah. They'll come.
Man, look,
They want their money, and it
yeah,
and it's
They want it.
and it's that serious. Because all conversations in a marriage, when it comes to money, when it gets heated,
You need to know
anybody
how
can
each
say
other wants to be buried. It could
exactly.
exactly.
be
Find
cremated,
out, yeah, the
whatever. I
clothes,
mean,
how you want them buried, where you want them buried,
yeah.
all that. It's best to have it all in writing, and it's best to have it notarized. It's best to have it downtown and registered because when it because with us, we didn't know that on
Okay.
the day or this date at this exact time they're gonna pass away, and when they do, everything changes. Duke Power don't care. Your mortgage
Nope.
company don't care. The water
Nope.
company don't care.
Nope.
Nobody cares. Everybody wants their money.
And then when you go downtown to the clerk of court and have to open up that estate and do that announcement in the
They
papers and
send
all that
you
kind of
a
stuff, you got to
they
open
send you
the
a bill. Yeah, they
open
send
the
you
estate,
a letter. They send
and you
you a
got
letter
to
and say,
close the
hey,
estate,
you ain't showed up
Yep.
yet. We need to have a
and
talk. You need to come down and
and
talk to me about your money.
and if things
Hmm.
ain't done right, ask me, sheriff
Right.
deputy standing at my door, like yo man.
Of course. Well, see, that's the same
Nobody,
thing.
I didn't know you had to close the estate. I knew I had to open it. Nobody said you got to
You,
come back and
you.
close it.
Yeah.
The thing is,
Yeah.
and this is what I found out the other day. You don't have to close it. There's a lot of open
Really.
estates out
Oh
there.
yeah, you can
Be
get
wary of your
extensions and
lawyer
stuff.
too. Be
Yeah,
wary of your lawyer too, because some of these you don't have to close. Some of them you can leave open. Some of
yeah.
them,
I didn't
like
know that.
some of them,
Okay.
there's some that they can be left open.
I didn't have an attorney. I did it on my own.
Okay.
And luckily enough, my that's what my wife used to do.
Right.
So everybody in the clerk of court's office knew her. So when that time came, I talked to somebody down there. It was like, "Oh, don't worry about it. It's on my desk." And I don't know what happened to that dude. I don't know if he got fired, he got sick, whatever. It was during COVID. So he told me not to worry about the closing. He got it. He was gonna take care of it. Well, he didn't.
Okay.
Well, then I get the
On the
the
door.
call
Sure,
man at the
Mhm.
door,
yeah,
and
but
then
make sure
I'm like, lock me up for if I don't do what? So I
because
start calling and I go down there and one lady there, she knew Steph. She was like, "Oh, you're Stephanie's husband." And
Uh,
and that she was like, she extended that thing out, took care of
okay.
me, helped me through it. And so I'm appreciative to Durham County Clerk of Courts. Salute to them. Shout out to y'all. Y'all saved me
Absolutely.
a lot of headache. But I'm going
And
through
you
it
also,
again now
I
because
think it's
her
also
dad's
important.
not done. I'm sorry, Serena. We talking at the
You're
same
okay.
time. Go ahead, baby.
I think, one of the things that we have to think about too is you think about things as a couple, but as the surviving spouse, you also have to think about what your kids will do when you pass, and
Mhm.
making things easier for them because we don't have our spouses to carry our wishes out for us now as we did for them. So one of the things that I did, that's why I got off camera, I went and bought a little book for my girls. Um, just
Cool.
getting things in order. I got that off of Amazon. And I haven't started writing it yet, but it's just little things like a personal message to them, who I am, online records, passwords, where my personal papers are, insurance policies, just a book. So everything will be written down. They'll know where it is. And when my time comes, they'll just be able to pull this out and carry through. Um, and of course, I've already taken care of my services. I'll be buried with Brian, just trying to make things easier for them so they can go through their process without the stress of what would mommy want and all of that good stuff.
and it's the
Well, the
worst
same
time in the
thing that you
world for them
did.
to try to plan. When that happens, people don't realize your mind is not in the position to be
Right.
handling these things. So it's the worst time for you to be trying to plan or trying to think of what they would want. So it's better to have it outlined for them so that that you're because
Mhm.
Well, see,
it's
that's the
hard.
exact conversation that I had with my son very recently. Actually, I've got to get my will notarized and a couple of witnesses, and then I'm done. However, I had that conversation with him at length, and we talked about, hey, these are my wishes. If it's where there's something traumatic that happens to me and you need to have me pressed and dressed, that's fine. If not, cremate me, save that
What
money,
I
go on
do.
vacation. I
Yep.
mean, I'm not being funny. I'm like, do what's going to be best for you so that you're not being bombarded with everybody else's grief and you can take care of your own. But I told him the four things that were important to me. I told him I'd put them in writing to make sure he had them. I got it's made out of a fireman's helmet, the material. I got it from Susie Orman, and I've got it in my office, and I probably should go get it. But it's a briefcase. It's about that big, um, but it's made out of that fire resistant, water resistant material.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll float. So every important document, car titles, insurance, will, do not resuscitate orders, everything, all the passwords, everything are in that. Marriage certificates, death certificates. So if something were to happen to the house, it's like that box on the freaking airplane that never gets destroyed.
Yeah, the
That
black box,
box.
the black box, and
Bridget, I
everybody
need to
needs
talk
one.
to you about that because I was thinking
Every
about getting a safe, but that sounds even better.
This
So
is even better because
you can
if
go to
there is some type of natural disaster, you can grab it and go. You
they
can grab it and go, and you can put it wherever you want to, but nobody really pays it any attention. But you
yeah,
can stick it, and it'll be visible. And if there is a natural disaster, that was the first thing that came to my mind because of all the storms and stuff we get here.
yeah,
I've had it for a couple of years, and now I've actually started properly filling it up. And it's been such a lifesaver because you could just go in there and you got it.
Steph got a
they,
safe here.
they
Uh
sell them
huh.
from
Put his stuff in there. She never really locked it,
Uh huh.
and I'm glad she didn't because I don't know where the hell the combination is. I don't know
See,
they sell them
that's
at
what I'm talking about.
how to
they
get
sell
into
them at
that damn
Walmart.
safe.
They sell them at Walmart. I know
Oh,
they
do
sell.
they? Okay.
They sell what you're looking for at Walmart. If not, go on Amazon. Amazon
Yeah.
got them because
Mhm.
that was
Okay.
because I had a fireproof safe, but it was a kind with the handle. Now I got the stand
Yes.
up kind. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm expanding and getting a different type of safe too. But it's always good to have something in a like she said, it's water resistant, fire
Yes.
resistant. You want
Mm-hmm.
it in that because because these are the documents you're gonna need if something ever happens to the house. If you know a flood or fire or whatever, and you
Right.
don't know what's gonna happen to you, and make
Right.
sure that your kids or whoever's close to you knows where the keys are, knows the combinations and things like that. It even if you're single, even if you're not married, this is still great
Right.
information for
Oh,
anybody
Absolutely.
absolutely.
to be
Yeah.
because like I said, what we don't think about is when you need these things, something terrible has happened, and you are not in an emotional state to make these decisions. So it's
Mm-hmm.
best to have a plan, and you hear it and you've heard it before. He who does not plan fails. He who does not plan is planning to fail,
Plan to
Yeah.
and
fail. Exactly.
fate favors the prepared, and it's
Mm-hmm.
just that simple. It's
Mm-hmm.
amazing. Me and Sonya were big doomsday preppers. And one thing that even messes with me to this day was we planned for all of this disaster and all of this contingency and all of this, but this was not what I was prepared for. This is the one thing that I had not prepared for. So when it happened, I'm floored and I'm trying to figure it out. I'm still trying to figure some of it out, but grateful. I'm grateful I had good people in my corner and people who had been through some things to help me to guide me. One thing, thank you, Joe. Let me say that right now. Joe was the first person who called me who'd been through what I've been through and talked to me and let me know it's all right. You're going to be all right. He was the
Mm-hmm.
first person to touch me and tell me that. My friends hadn't been there. Before then, I had kept hearing that, but I don't know what you're going through. I don't know what you're going through. I can't feel how you feel. I heard that from everybody. Joe was the first person to call me and say, "I know what you're going through. You feel like this, and this is what's going on with you, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
here for you." Joe, I thank you, brother,
Mhm.
for being there for
Mhm.
me.
My
Absolutely.
I'm
dude.
blessed. I'm so
Absolutely.
blessed to have him in my life to do that because there's so many people out there who don't have that and didn't have that, and even to this day, it might have been years since whatever happened to them happened, and they're still trying to figure out some things. And I don't, just thank you, Joe. Thank you for real.
I commend you all strength and your willingness to show your emotion. throughout all of this, and how very well you all are spoken with it. Katana, I've always said that you are very well spoken, always, ever since I've met you at school. Um, I was wondering if you all were this prepared prior to, just as being married couples. Were you this prepared? Did you have everything in place, or did this come up, after a while, like, oh, we need to get this and we need to
Well,
have this together, not as in the last moment, or on or even prior to the passing of our dear friends.
I will say with and it's so funny because Steph was an attorney and she did all of this. It wasn't super in place for us.
Mm.
Just like anybody else, you think you're gonna live forever. But I will say we had a will earlier on, and of course that's outdated by the time she got into this situation. Because it was done, we didn't even have kids.
Mm.
So
Wow.
weeks prior to her death, we got our wills redone. We
Mm-hmm.
sat down, we knew what we wanted, and then we got them redone. Um, Life insurance was always in place, and when I say always, let me stop. It wasn't always early on. So I'm gonna tell people if you just got married yesterday, go get that damn.
Mhm.
If
Yes,
you're
immediately.
engaged,
We
if you're
didn't do that.
engaged, get it.
That part, Sim.
Yeah,
That part,
yeah.
brother.
We,
Yes.
we we didn't do that. I
And
mean,
if
it
you're
came later.
young, do it while
And
you're young.
fortunate enough for us, it was in time. You know, it'd been years, and then just came about. But it wasn't right away, and that's something that should be put. And when that first child comes, go ahead and get them some too. That second child, as soon as they're born, do that. And I would say get them that term because you can. What we don't know as people of color, we don't. That's your self bank that you put the money into that later on these kids can pull money out, get a house, whatever, not be hit hard for it, and the other money is still there. So we need to start looking into these avenues as black people, right?
They
You know,
got them now where, like the one I have, at a certain age, if I need to, I can use it if I go
yeah,
into a home, if I
yeah,
need assisted living. We didn't.
yeah,
Our parents
all
didn't know
kind of
that. Our
stuff.
grandparents had it. Yeah,
And a
and
lot of the wealthy people in America that don't look like us, that's how they fund their businesses and everything else through these life insurance policies. It's like
Correct.
a bank. Also look into trust for your kids. I heard that mentioned a couple
Absolutely.
of times. Look
Absolutely.
Yes,
into
sir.
that. You
the
know,
beautiful. Oh, excuse me,
I'm
Joe.
kind of looking into that now. My kids are kind of
Well, the
moved
trust,
along already.
trust. Let me tell
So,
you, Joe. I'm sorry,
but as you
but the
learn,
trust.
these are things you learn. Things I didn't know. We're not really financially savvy. We in our households we don't talk about that like they do in their households. So we got to start educating one another as we learn something, share it with our friends and our family, and continue to do that. But we didn't have everything in place, Terry. I won't say that we were not unprepared, but we were not super prepared. And especially with me, I always thought, I would be the one that was going to leave before Steph. I had no idea that she would be first.
Jo-
Um,
Joe, I can tell
yeah.
you right now,
You would say
create
that
that
too.
trust. Get that trust done because
All
it
right.
is a shelter that
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
when you pass away, everything goes in there. Nobody can touch nothing.
Touch it.
Not the state, not the government. Nobody can touch nothing. That trust is a shelter. I will tell anybody the money you're going to spend in creating a trust makes it so much
Worth
worth it to protect your
worth
assets
Yeah.
because because what happens is you create the trust and then you become the trustee and you write in there when I die this person becomes control of the trust and when
Yeah.
you die it basically says everything this person owned goes into this bubble. You can have whatever doesn't get into this bubble, but everything that's in this bubble you can't touch it, and that's the beautiful thing about getting the trust. You
Now,
want
Joe, with you, that's really critical based on the number of businesses that you have. You can put those businesses in that trust, and then your children will be able to handle that, and it won't go to anywhere else. So for
exactly.
business owners, it's key. I know business owners right now who actually have trust that run their businesses through. They don't even
Hmm.
use LLCs; they use trust.
Trust.
So we have to think differently, totally differently. Now, Terry, back to your question, I was a lot more prepared because of all of the previous deaths that I've dealt with in my life. So when like I said, when Darius's father transitioned, a few months after we got married, we went ahead and started that process. We started looking at wills, we started looking at insurance, we started looking at all these other things that we needed to have in place. And his aunt, Maxine Brown Davis, was very instrumental in helping us in the beginning of our marriage with that. Because when you lose someone that they were married 45 years, you go, whoa, and we're fresh here in just a couple of months, and it's like, ooh, we might need to be preparing for something when it does happen down the line. So for us, it was a different type of space, which we were talking about. It was time to update everything that 8 weeks before he transitioned. So we were trying to do things periodically to make sure that we were still safe and secure as much as possible. But to Joe's point, a lot of times we don't think about all of the what ifs down the line because we get caught up in the invincibility of the moment and of the passion and the love, and we
Right.
don't think about the business side of marriage and the business side of being a survivor. And that's one of the big things for me that was a saving grace, because we literally had just talked 8 weeks before, and I was frantically pulling passcodes and all kinds of paperwork to make sure we get it updated. So God was preparing me before it happened. However, if you are cognizant, you can do that long before God gives you a push or a nudge. Just go ahead. It doesn't take much. It's just a matter of taking the time to actually sit down and handle it. What I have found is that a lot of couples don't want to talk about it. That's where the disconnect comes. They don't want to talk about death. They don't want to talk about life without that partner. I totally get that. The problem with that is you're living in denial. You're living in a space that you're setting yourself up for failure. You're not being wise. And you've got to be wise early so that you can enjoy the true passion and intimacy and knowing that there's a security. Because if something happens to that spouse, you're already straight. You ain't got to go through no drama. You ain't got to try to figure things out. You don't have to figure out, oh, well, does Asim want this? Does Serena want this? You don't have to figure it out. It's already done. And you did it together. And it may take a couple of weeks because of the emotional aspects of it and having to realize, okay, maybe one day I will. It's not for you to dwell on. It's for you to handle, for you to look at, for you to analyze, for you to put it in place. That's it. That's it. And I promise you, your relationship will have a different level of peace and calm and intent because you've done the things that you needed to do to ensure that the other one is going to be prepared if something were to happen. You're actually being more of a lover and a real partner because you're willing to go, you know what, babe? Let's have this conversation. Let's have this conversation because you need to.
It,
In 2019, Brian and I, we lost a lot of classmates and family members in 2019. So we actually went and um, looked. We didn't do anything, but we did go to a funeral home and looked at things, got costs, knew what type of caskets, what size caskets, all that stuff. So that was really helpful when it happened, because I was in no position to. The only thing
Mhm.
I knew for sure when Brian passed was he didn't want to repass. He wanted a cookout. I knew
There you
that
go.
much
There
because
you go.
he would, joke about it throughout the years. I don't want to repass. I want a cookout. Get the bros and have cookout. So that I knew for certain. But as I say, I was truly, truly blessed because honestly, all of that is a blur to me now. I don't
Uh-huh.
remember that week. None of it. I have a church friend who pretty much handled, all of that for me. God bless you, Janet. I don't know if you're watching, but um, I was in no state to do it.
Mhm.
Um, so it is very important to have all of that stuff in order, because think beforehand. You kind of think, if you do think about it, I think I'm superwoman. I get past all this stuff, and the tsunami
Mhm.
that hits. um, is unreal. But I have a question for you all. One of the things that I'm dealing with where the holidays, back to the holidays when they came in, my memory is horrible. And one of the things that my doctor was saying, it's something called widow's fog, where you can't, it's the stress, the trauma, PTSD, actually. And I didn't know, are you guys experiencing anything like that or?
I haven't, not really.
I'm I have a I already know I got a bad temper. I'm a I I like to argue, and I just got a bad, I just a very emotional person. So when she first passed, especially now, like I have to I've been studying martial arts, and I'm studying to become a firearms instructor, so I carry a firearm.
Me
I
too.
sometimes I, but I know that I'm emotional. So as
Ah,
dangerous as it is, sometimes I put it away and already know like today ain't a good day,
right,
because you don't want to, because it's not like you're gonna catch yourself. It's gonna
right,
happen, and then it's gonna be too late. And
right.
I have to, yeah, I have to understand that, my emotions run high. When she first passed away, I locked my gun up because I didn't want to. I
Right.
say it jokingly, but it's the truth. I didn't want
No.
to go to Wendy's and somebody forget to put cheese on my burger,
Burger.
and I
Hmm.
snatch him over the counter and beat the crap
Yeah.
out of him and realize,
Yeah.
oh my God, what are you doing? Like, you know what I'm saying? Because that's what ends up happening. And there were
Right.
times where I'd be cursing somebody out and get back in my own head and say, what are you doing? What, this person just asked a question. Why are you exploding on me? Because I get emotional like that. But to
Now I do
add
have
on,
those anger issues.
not to add on,
I always had them, but I
yeah, I mean,
mean,
but
she was talking about that fog and forgetting. Nah, but the anger, oh yeah,
well,
Well
to
now,
add into,
I'm
oh,
about that
sorry,
far off anything.
well now,
Off
Serena,
anything.
I haven't had the fog. However, I'm a very, very different person. Um,
Oh,
and it's like I said, it's more of that, hey, pretty girl. It's
yes.
more of that kind of bubble thing for me. Because I'm the eldest of five, my brain automatically, when death happens, I go into a business mode. My mind automatically clicks and I think about the business of what has happened and what has to take place. So my grieving winds up being substantially later than everyone else's because actually I become acutely aware of everything on a different level. Um, that's just how I've been trained. So it's like being in the military. When the sergeant gives that order, you just automatically flip. It doesn't matter what you're doing. That's what happens to me when there's death. I automatically go to the business side where everyone else is normally on the emotional side. So I've never experienced that same type of fog. I have seen other people that have, and I have a deep understanding of it. I've just simply not experienced it. But like I said, that goes back to my training. And I've been doing that since my junior year in college when my grandmother passed away. So, it's one of those things for me that it's different. Um, and it's not so much of a fog for me later. I do get quiet on purpose because if I don't, I become like Joe and a Sim. Because I can fire off in a heartbeat. I mean, I can get you real quick. However, I try hard not to unless truly provoked. And sometimes it seems like you were saying the cheese ain't on the burger or whatever, and I will straight go off.
yeah, for no
Just
reason. I'm
go
sorry.
off.
I got a call from my job, and I have to cut this short and leave.
Yeah, yeah, we about to
I
get
want to
off.
say good night for everybody. But I did want to say this before I leave. When you were talking about being prepared and having a conversation, the last conversation I had with my wife, we had just got approved for refinancing our house and was pulling money out of it. The last conversation we had before we laid down the bed was of talking about life insurance and estate planning. And that night she had her heart attack and passed away.
Hmm.
So just to let y'all know about when I say don't wait. Don't procrastinate. Have the conversation. Get it done. God chooses for you, and that's it. And it's just that simple. Our time in this world, we think that we have time, but that's the most precious thing we got is our time. You can always make more money. You ain't never making more time.
No, sir.
I love y'all. Thank
Love
you.
you
You too,
too.
man.
Y'all have a good night. All
Appreciate
right.
you, Asim.
Be easy, bro.
All right.
You saying bye?
Well, y'all, I think we've dropped some jewels and giving people some insight. I got one last thing to say. Whatever y'all been going through in your marriage, you know, it's a small thing. Trust me.
Absolutely.
I don't you thinking, oh God, he cheated, she cheated, they was with that
Don't
joint is
matter, boo.
so small, man.
Don't matter.
It's so small, man.
It's
It's so
minuscule.
small.
It's minuscule. It
Yeah.
is.
So if you're still together and you think you want to stay together,
Do so.
work it out. Give each other some space, but you're still individuals. Be more understanding. I was super neat. Steph wasn't. I wish she'd come in here and throw all them clothes in the chair right now.
Right now.
We'll deal with
Exactly.
it. It's a small thing.
Mhm.
So
I would love to argue with him right
yeah.
now. I
Guys, go right down. Don't even tell her why. Run out. Just go in there and hug her, man. Just hug her. Ladies, yeah, I know he just trying to watch the game. Sit down. You don't know what's happening. Just
Okay.
sit there and
interrupt that
stare at the
man,
screen.
girl.
Look, I
And
can't
when
even
he
co-sign
chill,
on that because
you
I'm in there
chill.
watching the game with him. You know what I'm saying?
When he
I'm in there.
start
He and
cursing,
I
you
going at it
start
like this
cursing.
because he's a
Just make
Redskins
it
fan
feel
and I'm a
good.
Cowboy. So I'm on his
Yeah,
back,
yeah.
Just make it feel good.
giving him a fit because I can.
Hopefully
It's
we've been
Absolutely.
fixable. It's
good for
if
some
if
people
your
out there.
life
I
is
hope this
not in
was
danger,
good.
if your
I hope
life
some
is
people
not in
took to
danger,
it.
it's fixable.
Hmm.
Terry, keep crying, baby. It ain't nothing wrong with it. All
At
right.
all.
So y'all, we're gonna get out of here. Everybody have a good evening. Have a good holiday. Happy holidays to everybody.
Love
Absolutely.
y'all.
Appreciate y'all.
Everybody's going through something rough and you want to talk about it, man. My phone is always open to call me, man. Call me. Understand that somebody's there for you. We don't have to do nothing drastic. You ain't taking your life and killing somebody else. If you need to talk, grab somebody. Everybody out there, check on your loved ones. Just a text. That's all. Check on
Exactly.
somebody, man. Your friends. Check on them. Make sure. Y'all have a good night.
Y'all do the same. Appreciate all the insight and advice.
Happy to share.
Love y'all.
Emotions overflow shouldn't be denied. Cling to me for the magic ride. Into
Bye bye, Terry.
Thank you, Joey.